Hello viewers! As you can see on my screen, I am currently on the G DATA CyberDefense page, which is the official homepage for G DATA software. Today we have this prominent banner here for G DATA VPN. Yes, today we are going to review this G DATA VPN and explore exactly what features it offers. First, let's head over to My G DATA, where I have already set up an account. I'm logging in now. I initially installed the application from the Play Store and activated it using a dual currency payment method. They provided me with a username and password. As you can see, the username is displayed right here. You can also see that the license type is standard, the customer number is currently unavailable, and it is activated until April 13, 2026. Okay. If I go to the VPN section, there are versions available for Windows, iOS, Android, and macOS. You simply select your platform and click Download Software to start the process. Let's proceed with the download for Windows. While that's happening, let's take a look at the Control Center. Looking at the Control Center, it doesn't seem to have many advanced options like SOC 5, WireGuard, or any separate configurations for logging in and setting it up on a router. As you can see, it is a very minimalistic control center. Here are the account settings where you can see the username and email address. Personal details like first name, last name, and company are also visible here. I have enabled dark mode. Under security, you can change your password, and under data protection, there are a few options you can turn on if you wish. It's very basic with limited options. I clicked download earlier, but it didn't seem to trigger. Let me try downloading it from this section instead. Let's see. G DATA for Windows, Internet Security, Total Security. Where is the VPN download? Mobile Security. Actually, finding the specific VPN download option here is a bit tough. Let me go back up. Alright viewers, we need to scroll down a bit further. If you scroll down, you will find the G DATA VPN download link right here. This is the download link. Honestly, I found this process a bit complicated. It could have been made much simpler. I'm clicking the Windows download link now, and the download should begin. The download has started. It is 159 megabytes. Once the download is finished, we will install it on Windows and test its performance. It's finished, so let's open it to begin the installation. Let's see. After the installation, I will show you the interface and the available options step by step. First, during setup, it asks for the language. I'll keep English as the default. Now let's proceed with the installation on this computer. It is asking me to select a location. I'll just go with the default path. To be clear, I am only installing this for the purpose of this video. I don't plan on using this VPN permanently because I prefer other VPNs that offer better options. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I wasn't particularly impressed with the control center. Alright, our VPN is now open. We can see the G DATA VPN branding here along with the lock icon. Now we just need to log in. Let's go ahead and log in. So viewers, as you can see, we have now logged in using our user ID and password. The login process is currently underway. Once logged in, we are greeted with a very minimal interface. First, we have the country list, and the fastest available option is selected here. It also displays the city and the current load, showing exactly how much traffic is on each server. If we filter by minimum load, it shows the servers with the least traffic. Moving to the left side, we have the settings option. Here, you'll find the language selection, currently set to English, and the connectivity options. It's not set to auto here. Instead, we have options like IKEV2, WireGuard, and OpenVPN. For higher security, okay, it will prompt you to install the TAP adapter for OpenVPN. It also lists OpenVPN Best Performance. However, for the absolute best performance, they recommend WireGuard High Security and Best Performance. You can use OpenVPN if you only need high security. There's also an additional option for OpenVPN Best Performance. From here, you can toggle local area network access on or off. Personally, I prefer to keep this turned off. Next is Auto Reconnect. Again, my personal preference is to keep this off, but you can leave it on if you prefer. The kill switch is available for data protection, and you can choose to keep it enabled. You also have the option here to block LAN traffic. Under Application Startup, you can set the app to launch automatically when Windows starts. Other options include Hide Application at Startup, Hide to Tray, and various keyboard shortcuts. Honestly, I didn't find many standout features among these settings. Okay, here's the split tunneling option. It includes domain tunneling as well. One issue I have here is that you have to select applications manually. The application names don't populate automatically. This is a bit of a drawback for me. It would be much more convenient if the application names appeared directly. This manual process feels a bit tedious, and many users might find it quite boring. Okay, there is an automatic update option here. And finally, we have the About information, branding at the bottom, and the Exit button. Now, let's go ahead and test the performance. We'll select Fastest Available and click Connect. First, let's check whoer.net to see if our connection has been properly established. Yes, the connection is established. Now that we are connected, you can see my current IP, the one assigned through the VPN. It shows Dhaka, Virtual, Bangladesh using the WireGuard protocol. Let's look at the results on whoer.net. We saw with this, or perhaps one other ISP, an anonymity level of 100%. This is actually very impressive and deserves praise, because it's rare to see a full 100% anonymity level. The one we checked previously also used strong technology and was based in Bangladesh. Now let's run a speed test. We're heading over to speedtest.net to see what kind of speeds we're getting. It's connecting now. Okay, the connection is live. We are seeing speeds of nearly 40 Mbps. Even though I'm testing from Bangladesh during peak hours, I still feel this speed isn't quite effective. It's not really acceptable. It should have been higher. I've tested many other VPNs where the download speeds were significantly better. But the most disappointing part is the upload speed. We are getting very low speeds here, actually below 1 Mbps. In my opinion, this is quite poor. I would categorize this as a very weak data speed. So let's move on from strong technology. We'll disconnect from the fastest available and try the server with the absolute lowest load, Macau. Let's connect and check the speed and latency for Macau. To see what kind of IP we're assigned, let's go back to whoer. Whoer shows the ISP as NetProtect, and the IP is indeed located in Taipa, Macau. It shows a 90% anonymity level, which I would say is good. Now let's go ahead and run a speed test for this connection. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, we're going to perform a few speed tests to give you a basic idea of the kind of speed you can actually expect from this VPN. So, as we can see, it's currently connecting. If we look at the ping and the latency, the situation is terrible. I mean, the latency status is just awful. It's showing 526, but we can see the speed has roughly crossed 100 Mbps. It's nearing 150. This is actually a very good sign, the fact that we're getting such high speeds, but the latency remains terrible. This means it's fine for those doing general work, but for gamers, the situation is quite bad. Now let's see how the upload speed holds up. In our previous test, we saw that the upload speed was terrible. Here too, we're seeing an awful upload speed. It's not even picking up. That means the upload speed for G Data is in a quite pathetic state, one might say. Ultimately, our upload speed test failed, so let's move on and test another country. Looking at the country list, we have Albania here. Let's try connecting to Brisbane, Australia to see what kind of speed we get there. Okay, it's now connected to Brisbane, Australia. All right, let's see what the situation is here. Our page is loading. GSL network. We've tested GSL network IPs before. Here, we see an anonymity level of 90%. It's showing the IP and DNS. There's no host name, which means this could likely be a real IP, meaning it could be a residential IP rather than a data center one. So we can see Brisbane, Australia here. Now let's run a speed test and see how it performs. Let's start the speed test, global layer. We've started the test. We can see it's in a connecting state because it's checking the latency. Whenever it stays in this connecting phase, it means the network is verifying the latency. And now we see that the latency situation here is also terrible at 535, but the speed we're getting is actually very good. It has reached nearly 200 Mbps. I'd call this a superb speed. It's even nearing 300, which is even better. Getting this kind of speed despite such high latency is quite impressive. However, the upload speed still hasn't improved. We can see the upload speed is only around 4 or 5 Mbps. Honestly, I'm not happy with this. If we have a 300 Mbps download speed, we expect the upload speed to be at least around 100 or 200. Okay, let's shorten the video a bit. We were on Australia, now let's try Vancouver, Canada. I'll try Vancouver, Canada to see what the speed test results look like there. Now, I don't usually test on mobile because I feel the results would be even worse. With my 2.4G network on mobile, I don't think it would show results as good as what we see here. It would probably be quite a bit slower. So, we see this is also a net protect IP, and here the anonymity level is moderate at 70%. This also doesn't seem like a data center IP, it looks like an ISP IP. Even though it's an ISP IP, let's see how the speed test results turn out. It seems the previous IP is still showing here. Let me check if the IP has actually changed. IP number 12. So here's 53.11. Yes, host number 12, it's correct. Let's see, it's showing connecting. We can see the latency has dropped slightly to 509, but it really should have been better. We're seeing that the download speed isn't great either. It's still below 100 Mbps. We definitely expect better download speeds from a Canada IP. Let's see if it picks up. Let's keep watching for a moment. Okay, we can see that the upload and download speed here aren't bad. Not bad at all. Compared to what we saw earlier, these results for Canada are much better. Although the latency is still very poor, the speed itself is quite high. Let's scroll down and see the status of other locations. Here is India virtual. It's clearly labeled as virtual. It's good that they specify when a location is virtual. It makes it easier to understand the connection. All right, let's see how it works. As we can see, it shows strong technology just like before. This is a virtual IP, a data center IP. Let's run a speed test and see what kind of speed we get. It shows connecting. The ping situation looks very poor here. The test hasn't even started yet. Because of this, let's head over to fast.com. We need to check it from there since we aren't getting results here. As we can see, it's showing 5, 9, around 10 Mbps. It reached up to 12. Honestly, I'm quite disappointed with the performance here. It's fluctuating between 1 and 2 Mbps, going up and down. Let's just move on and close this. Next, we will check another location. India's performance was horribly bad. Let's try an IP from Tokyo, Japan. We had a terrible experience with the Indian IP. There was almost no bandwidth, and what was there was fluctuating wildly. Plus, it was a data center IP. Here we see a 90% anonymity level. I hope the results will be better this time. As you saw, the previous one failed. Let's see how well this one meets our expectations. After this, we won't make the video much longer. We'll check just one more country and then reach a decision on whether you should use this VPN. We can see the latency is much lower now, and the speed is looking quite good. So while some countries show decent speeds, I found that most countries performed poorly here. The upload speeds in particular are relatively very bad. I think the G Data company should focus on their upload speeds because many customers might have complaints about this. Let's disconnect this. Now for the final one, let's check an IP from the United States. After this, we will reach a conclusion and finish the video. We will decide whether this VPN is actually worth using. Here we see a 90% anonymity level and a host name, so it's definitely a data center IP. Let's check the speed test result. It's in the connecting stage. It seems we've set a fixed host, so every test is pairing with that one. Let's see what happens. The ping is in a very bad state, and the speed is struggling to pick up. However, it's reaching nearly 100 Mbps, then around 150, and now up to 180. This is actually okay. Despite having such high latency, the speed is quite good. Now let's check the upload speed. It's struggling quite a bit, but it is climbing. If we can get an upload speed like this on most IPs, I would say it's acceptable. If this speed is consistent across most servers, then there's nothing to complain about. I hope we've been able to give you a clear idea of the support and speeds you can expect from this VPN. If you liked our video and found it helpful, please subscribe to our channel. We hope to bring you more new videos in the future. Until then, Allah Hafiz, goodbye, take care, and see you later.